Hi, my name is Danny, and I am the creator of Skin Harmonics, the very first Medi-Holistic skin resurfacing method. And today I'm going to tackle perimenopausal and menopausal skin. And this is something that I've been studying and have been working with menopausal skin my whole career, but now it's me. And so it always feels a little bit different when it's yourself. However, I have a lot of history with helping women with perimenopausal skin, and I've seen a lot of things within the skin industry that have caused me to have the opinions that I have. And today I'm going to talk about that, and we're going to talk specifically about what this type of skin wants and needs. So the place to begin would be that we all have a skin health foundation, ideally, and those are things that we're doing for our skin already. Now, once in a while, I get a client who's never had to do anything for their skin, good genetics, good lifestyle, no problems, and all of a sudden they're extremely motivated. Because it's pretty intense. It's pretty much the dermal thinning that happens with the hormone fluctuations in menopausal skin. So it's very real. But ideally, when you start to address perimenopausal and menopausal skin, you have a skin health foundation, and that's everything that you guys have been hearing me preach since the beginning, and what I consider to be the foundation for skin health, no matter what your age, no matter what your issue, is this basic routine of minimal cleansing and daily use of SPF, a clean one, and then it's the origin set that I sell, because that origin set is hydration, it's dermal nutrients, it's dermal antioxidants, and it's barrier restoration, just in those 3 steps. And then the final thing, which I consider to be foundational care, is a simple monthly enzyme. So that is ideally the place that you come to, when you're starting to do something extra for your skin. And so now this is where I want to jump to, what is the extra mile? Like, what does that mean? So as long as you don't even think about going an extra mile for your skin if you don't have these essentials pinned down. Because I do know this, no matter what the issue is with skin, it could be hyperpigmentation, it could be acne, it could be extreme sun damage and dealing with the possible sun cancer precursors, whatever those conditions are, or rosacea, there has to be a skin health foundation, period. There's no substitution for water, for dermal nourishment and barrier restoration. There just isn't. So that said, moving on to what is beyond, and those extra miles, those extra things that we can do, the first one is super doses of dermal nutrients. Now, as our skin ages, it gets really, really hungry, and the most significant way to delay and minimize dermal thinning is by keeping it thick with extra dermal nutrients. So when skin has access to these super doses of nutrients, it literally can have more capillaries. It, has to metabolize these nutrients, so it's like fortified, it's plumped up, it's kept its full dermal thickness. The contrary to that is if it's over exercised and not sustained, our dermal layer will thin at a faster rate. So it's like a pretty big, it's actually a big shocker the first time you hear that, because clinical skincare has us so trained that with any skin issue that we just dive headlong into trauma-based procedures, which are lasers, microdermabrasion, chemical peels, traditional retinol, scrubs. We do all of these things, which we now know with the new information takes us in the wrong directions towards premature dermal thinning. Now, why would we do that when us women have to go through a dermal thinning that's built into our DNA at a certain age. So number one is increase the dermal nutrient dose. And that means using feast at night or even super feast at night. And then number two is kind of a no-brainer, and I almost included this in the foundation, but it's vitamin C. I sell mine in a powder, so it's super fresh. It's very potent. It's mixed in with the serums at night. But vitamin C is kind of a no-brainer when you get it really good, because it really goes a long way with helping against sun damage and just scavenging free radicals. And it's super, it's very affordable, and it just does so much for our skin. And then the two other things that I want to mention, the two other products are these specialty serums that I sell. And there are a million specialty serums in the skincare market. I mean, God, you could just go dizzy with them all. And I've narrowed it down to what I think is two of one of the best, some of the best out there. And one of them is a DNA corrector and a UV shield. Now, this is really, really meaningful for perimenopausal skin that has had also it's already had a lifetime or two of sun exposure. And then, so there's that serum, which I think is very much worth it. And then there's another specialty serum that specifically targets stem cells and the regeneration of, and it's also very hydrating. So those are things that are very regenerative. These are all things that something that I consider, my light here, something that I consider to be regenerative. That we're not going in that direction of trying to melt and zap our skin to get it to make new skin cells, because we know that that's kind of it's basically one step forward and 3 steps back. So those are the products that I can think of that will have the most impact on menopausal skin. Now, when it comes to services, you've kind of already heard my rant on that. It's basically protecting yourself, having that level of education and being informed enough to say no to all those things I just rattled off, and to substitute in their place, take away those procedures, which I believe to be sort of like the toxic substitute to the real thing, and the real thing being microcurrent. Now, microcurrent was discovered years and years ago. There's a ton of research about it. It was discovered when they were trying to help stroke victims recover their muscle control. And so it was basically then, noticed that it firmed muscles, right? So then later it was translated to the beauty industry, and specifically our faces. So there are some really great microcurrent devices out there, and it's basically like face yoga, but it's kind of lazy face yoga, because you can just hold the thing and it lifts and tones and brings the ATP of our cells all the way up to 500%. It's the only holistic way to bring volume and lift into our skin. Because at this point, we know that we can't actually add a lot of volume, and that's why injections are so popular, even though they decrease skin health. And we can eat collagen, we can do collagen masks, but it doesn't quite translate into the hyperproduction of collagen enough to add volume. It just doesn't. So we have to think about finding volume in other ways, which is lifting and toning our facial muscles. And then acupuncture is an incredible service to receive. It can really lift and relax and flush fluid. And then good old facial massage. I mean, this is, to me, one of the most underrated and highly, highly valuable services available. And I expect to see a surge. I hope to see an increase in a surge of this service being offered. It's like face sculpting, face massage, somebody who really knows how to get in there and break up the fascia and to just smooth out and just get in there and loosen our jaw. And oh my gosh, I mean, if you've never had a dedicated facial massage, You just haven't lived in the beauty world. I'm telling you, it's so good for the entire your entire system. But through facial sculpting massage from somebody who's trained and highly skilled, I mean, that goes a really long way to helping with our skin. So think about those procedures rather than just booking a laser series. And, with that said, it's more just like this mindset of, this is where I see ladies just getting into a lot of trouble. Like, we hit perimenopause, we start to see these changes, we freak out, we want to fix it. And we kind of jump into these procedures like lasers, chemical peels, deep peels, microneedling. We just push ourselves into these procedures because they're the conventional trend. And then what happens is, once the inflammation goes away, and once that rush of new skin cells that was made from that, basically what happens is, like, the skin does make some new skin cells, but you've just lost a lot, and you've harmed your collagen matrix. Like, you've diminished it rather than fortified it and plumped it up and preserved it. So there's just this mindset about how can I preserve my skin, and how can I nurture it and give it things that are very nurturing and gentle. I mean, our lives can be just full of so much trauma already. So then, like, why would we just continue that on our own skin? And the trauma looping that we go through in our lives is very similar then as the trauma looping that we go through with the conventional beauty industry, where you get another peel, get another microneedling session, they're sold in series. Oh, and just when, then you got to get your next peel, the next laser. Like, it's just this conveyor belt. And to me, it's just it's a toxic trauma loop. So it's very, very important that we kind of open our eyes and wisen up and think and just change our mindset into how we can really preserve our skin, not put any more hard miles on it by participating in those procedures, and how we can nourish our skin, like, for real. So that's me weighing in on exactly what perimenopausal and menopausal skin wants and needs. And this is going to be the beginning of a whole little series moving forward, where I'm going to do kind of a deeper dive into all of the major stubborn skin issues, like acne, hyperpigmentation, rosacea, possible sun cancer precursors. And then I'm going to do a final video on, like, what if you're just young and fabulous and want to keep it that way? So these are all the things that you can do for your skin. All the things I wished I knew to do for my skin when I was 20. So, okay, you guys, I will see you next time.